Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam L, and this is Talk with the Titans. I'm actually going to re-welcome everybody to part 2 of the Amun-Ra squad. No pseudo ship allowed in the conscious community at all. You know, if you're just tuning in right now, please hit that share button. Let everybody know that we are actually live, and we've, there's a new link to actually watch the show. So please share this right now. I don't think we're going to start until you shared it all the way through. And let's get the numbers back up to everybody who was watching our previous shows. If you're watching this now and you haven't watched the part 1 version of Amun-Ra Squad, No Pseudos Allowed, please go on to the Titans TV YouTube page and go back into the playlist, which is Talk with the Titans, and click onto the No Pseudos Allowed Amun-Ra Squad. Get abreast of the information I was talking about in part 1, and now we're entering into part 2, and we're actually going to start talking about peer review. We're going to start talking about peer review and why it is so important that peer review is actually established and initiated inside of the conscious community. Peer review is something that takes place in academia in general, and of course, Amun-Ra Squad is literally the spearhead of the academia within inside of the conscious community. I think the conscious community might even be too small for the type of work that the Amun-Ra Squad does, because the Amun-Ra Squad not only are authors of several books, but they're also doctors that actually work with inside of academia. They're actually have their own DVD or animations that's teaching children wonderful information, as well as having their own clothes. The list goes on and on and on. Amun-Ra Squad is the leading academic research and publication team that we have over here in the US and in the UK, being a Team Osiris member myself. So you know what? I'm actually going to go straight into my brother Anka Kek just to set the standards, and then Ish and the rest of the the rest of Amun-Ra Squad just join in. So, peer review. Why is it so important to be peer reviewed?
I got a little book I put together. Real Black Atheist Scholar, The Return of the Great Ones, those who wrote and challenged history. Most people don't know about this, all right? And in this book, right, I put a collection of articles, right? And it talked about peer review in here, all right? Now, peer review is basically just when your peers come together to review your work. It's not even hard. I mean, it's just simple. So if, say, you're like the works we produce, and I'll hand my work out to the brothers and sisters before I put it out in the public, and I'll let them review it to see exactly if the standard is keeping with where we're supposed to be at, right? And so, for instance, if you're going to deal with matters of science, quantum physics, which is science, things like that, right? You have to submit your works to the scientific community to deal with that. And Ali Baba Muhammad was asked a question. He was asked on that couch. He said, well, Dr. Oyo asked him, well, is your work peer reviewed? He said, hell no. I'm not going to let no cracker review my work. And, well, you just discounted yourself. Because all really is going on is, if you got certain data, right, you should always release that data. Allow your peers, right, scientists, whatever it is subject you're working on, to review it and see if he comes up with the same conclusions that you came up with that data. That's not even hard. And I'm thinking that our community has really fallen short because we produced a lot of works that weren't looked at by other peoples in certain fields. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So when my book before it come out, right, I'm gonna make sure all the brothers have a copy. They're going to review over it and see what it is. And it's not hard. So peer review is a very, very important process. And so they got like journals, okay? These journals, these international journals, where people around the world submit their work. And it's important. And it's important because if not the whole international community, right, then things might get skewed. Bad enough you got people want to cheat, make up stuff. We see it all the time. So we need everybody's thought process on this. So when you make the statement of white man science and all that, it's not true. I mean, you got a wealth of people. Like no one ever talks about. In my book, I talk about the leading paleontologist, Haile Selassie. Talk about the sister. She's a leading paleontologist in Somalia. I mean, we got black people. Man, with the very museum we was at, you got Tyson Neal DeGray. His office is in that museum, Museum of Natural History, New York. And so when you got Dr. Oyo, she is actually written works that have been submitted in journals in Johns Hopkins. I mean, we don't want to show off, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And her peers, you know what I'm saying, have reviewed it and deemed it worthy. So it's even if you're a pseudo, right? You should at least let the pseudo community review your work and say it's pseudo reviewed. Now we can respect that. That's all I want to say.
I would say that in agreement with my brother Ankh, there's also a fine line of the credibility that some people may seek by getting a seal of approval by Western civilization or Western education that we really need not seek. In totality of what Dr. Ali Muhammad had stated, he stated that, you know, the reason why he gave a reason why he did not release his works to be reviewed by the European. It's because that they are not his peers. He specifically said that he would release his books or his works to be reviewed by Amara Squad and fellow African-centered scholars in order to vet his work for any errors and make corrections upon that. I personally, I don't have any problem if there's works for me to be submitted. I will submit it out to the open and let it be critiqued by anyone. You know, there's been official writings that have been out there to be reviewed, refuted if necessary. You know, to be reviewed by the peers. For your peer review, you would be with someone with like minds, like values, like educational levels, and for them to vet your work and then see where the errors are in order to correct it. We do that. We have a built-in vetting program within Amara Squad, which keeps all of us at the top of our game. It's a very successful way of a controlled environment of making sure that the works, before it goes out to the public, that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And it's something that keeps us at the top of our game on point. And it's a great, very great benefit that we have.
It is.
Yes, sir.
You can't submit no daggone DNA thing to me, man. You need to get people that actually got labs. I'm just saying, dude. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Ali crazy,
yeah.
man.
I mean, at the end of the day, like you proved, you're gonna have to engage into the academic intellectual warfare with the people that you're waging the war upon. So if you're walking into a laboratory, you're talking about the land of Mu and Lumeria, show the public how you do that.
Yeah.
So that the public can see how you get laughed out of the laboratory as soon as you step up with that theory that you're projecting. So sooner or later, if you're coming with a certain level of information, it's going to be either challenged or refuted, or you're just talking to people that you really don't want your work critiqued by. You know, so I guess even within us, if you bring the works to us, it will be critiqued academically, you know, and feelings, you know, should not get hurt, but they may get hurt if it's not academically feasible.
Yeah, and I tell you where you're getting the problems with. I remember you contacted the Churchwood family. Am I correct in that?
Yes, I did. Yes.
And I remember the podcast they did.
Yes.
The white boy was like, unbeknown to me, that there were people out there teaching that my grandfather's work that moved some kind of way was the start of civilization. He said we wouldn't want to disrespect the African community because Africa is the motherland. He said that, remember that? He said we had no idea that
Yes,
there
he
were
did.
people out there teaching that, using our grandfather's work for that. I'll never forget that, bruh.
He was genuinely amazed. He was amazed that someone would stand up in front of groups of people and teach that the civilization of the land of Mu is the mother of all civilizations. He was genuinely surprised because he could not understand why I was attacking his family so viciously. But our children do not deserve to be mentally abused by anyone attempting to lift a false history and impose it into their heads. Anyone who's trying to take the of Mother Africa, that's war. So he was surprised at the veracity that he was being attacked, but once he saw for himself what was being taught to our people, he, as a church ward family, said, what can I do, number one, to get you off of my chest? And number two, how can I right this wrong? And he specifically denounced those people who were teaching that false pseudo history.
He did that immediately.
And I just want to say something to peer review. There's a difference between something being peer reviewed versus something simply being critiqued by just anyone. Peer review involves people reviewing your work who are also competent, and that's the key word, competent in the field or the subject matter in which that you're writing in or that you're discussing. So you can't have just anyone review, even though because I hear some people using the word peer as a racial thing, because they look like me, they appear like me, but the peer part is your mental competency of the subject matter. So I think that needs to be stressed, because you just can't have people that look like you review your work and they're not competent in it to discern whether you have accuracy or inaccuracies in it, and then give that stamp of approval on it, and then you march it forward like, hey, my work has been peer reviewed. It doesn't work like that.
Very good point.
It sure does. Don't they wish it worked like that?
And since we're back again, we're about to go into a nice lengthy discussion on pseudoism inside of the community, how to avoid pseudoism, what are the proper methods of research and study that academics or academia uses. So we're going to go into all that very shortly, but real quickly, if you're just tuning in right now, I'm actually going to implore you to please just simply share this link with the rest of your friends and tell them to join Titans TV. Okay, Titans TV, we literally have loads of conscious lectures, discussions, and interviews like we're having right now, this very second, with the Amun-Ra squad. And I believe we've had the Amun-Ra squad on various times on our show discussing evolution and creation. We've had people like Dr. Ali Muhammad, Dr. Ali Muhammad, Irritated Genie, Gano Grills, Red Pill, Team Osiris, Zion Lexx, Harry Rosenberg in the studio. So if you want to see great shows like this and listen to the Titans, the greats, with inside of the conscious community, please hit that subscribe button, and tune into all of our Talk with the Titans shows. Our shows come on every single Wednesday, and we have emergency shows as well. Last week we actually had a couple, a Babalawo and an Epetebi, come in to discuss Ifa system. This is the West African Nigerian Yoruba system or spiritual system, and that was absolutely amazing, phenomenal. I'm actually going to be going for my reading very soon, so I might even have to do a quick vlog for that, for you to see what actually takes place when you go for a reading. And of course, we've got our speakers corner section. where we have loads of debates. Literally, we have debates on all types of subjects, from Muslims to Jews to Christians to atheists to Sikhs. Everybody gets involved. I bet you never knew that black atheism is on the rise. I don't know whether they've been listening to Ankh, but trust me, black atheism is on the rise in the UK. And of course, we've got our sister show, which is Trending Topics. Trending Topics. We've got the sisters who tune in and give us their opinions on certain situations. We've obviously got our Team Osiris member, which is our founding co-host for the Trending Topic show. They did last week Beyonce, the Backlash, and the Effeminate Agenda, with the cross-dressing of Will Smith's son, as well as slut shaming, which was made popular by Amber Rose. So yeah, definitely check out all of the great shows that we do have on Titans TV. Of course, again, I'm going to implore you to please hit the share button, and let everybody know who was on the previous link to come in and watch part 2 of the show. Later on as well, we're going to actually have callers calling in to actually ask the Amun-Ra squad some questions and to give their commentary as well. So I'm actually going to go back into the Amun-Ra squad right now, and you know what? I want to know, what do I want to know from the Amun-Ra squad? You know what?
You see this? See that?
Go ahead.
Man, this is my mail for the day. Alright? See, it's my mail for the day. Books, right? Science journals. Look, this for the day. Talking about the gravitational waves, what they reveal about reality, right? That's that, they talking about how they finally seen the gravitational waves, right? Right here, this is going to be my read for the morning. It's called Sea Change, right? Seagrass. Genome reveals key adaptation of a flowering plant that returned to the ocean. See, this is talking about evolution right here, okay? And how certain flowering plants are returning back to the ocean, and they studied the genome to know why. So while y'all running around talking about that ain't real, it's going down. All right? It's going down. So Kalam, go in that, when you get a chance, go in that chat room, and let's answer some of them dumb questions like why baboons are still around, right? Watch this. Why are baboons still around, right, if humans are here? Here's a good point for you. These are all magazines, right, Kalam?
That's right.
See that, right?
Scientific magazines, of course.
Okay, but let's just look at, and they're made out of paper, right? Let's just say one magazine go this way and one go that way, right? And they meet back up. One is a daggone human and one is a daggone baboon, right? Does that mean that the baboon had to die out for that human to be here, bro? Do you see that? I'm going to say it again. Same magazine. They split and go in 2 different directions. Environmental pressures affect each magazine differently. By the time they meet up again, that don't mean that this magazine had to die out because this magazine is something different from that magazine. See, y'all stay in checkmate because y'all dumb. Now,
would it work as well if you had, let's say, 3 magazines? So you have 3 magazines, okay?
3 magazines.
Let me bring the 3 right now. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring out 3 from my list right here. We got 3 magazines. Let's say, for example, you know what? One of them stays still. The other one goes towards, let's say, a very wet environment. The other one goes towards a very hot environment.
Right.
What's gonna happen to this? What's gonna happen when the water touches this magazine or this book?
That's the one that went where? To the dry environment, right?
To the wet environment.
That went to the wet environment. Okay, yeah, it's gonna change it.
It's gonna change. It's gonna get soggy. It's gonna get, mold might even start growing on it. A new organism might attach itself to it. It might change its appearance from the one that stood still. This one went into a hot environment. What's gonna happen to it? It's gonna stay dry. It might even turn crispy. But at the end of the day, they all came from this one, but just the others have different environmental pressures that alter and change its form and composition. I don't understand. I don't know why it's hard to understand. I think human beings have an ego issue. You know, we can learn about it happening to plants. We can learn about it happening to, you know, certain animals. But when it comes to organisms that favor us or look similar to us or are us, we just cannot accept it.
Hey,
I don't know
Kalam,
why.
Kalam, here's one for you. Everybody listening to this show, right? They will all agree. They will all agree that uh, artificial selection or artificial breeding is real because we know all canines of the day come from the gray wolf. And that did not happen naturally. It happened artificially. Human beings did that. Human beings took the gray wolf, right? And those gray wolves that weren't as aggressive, right? The humans were able to feed. And so some of the wolves recognized if I chill out, I can get more food. And so the humans took those that were less aggressive and fed them and mated them back with more less aggressive, quote unquote, gray wolves. They selected the traits that were more favorable with human beings. Just like the pit bulls. They breed them to be vicious. So they breed the more vicious dogs together and you get a more vicious dog. The same way with race horses, right? They selectively breed race horses. Like the champion won the Triple Crown, they'll breed that with another winner to get those traits of a winner. But back to the gray wolf. All dogs today extend from the gray wolf based off of the human beings doing it. But the human beings, right, had a goal in mind. So if human beings can do it, what makes you think Mother Nature can't do it? That's called tomfoolery. The difference between Mother Nature and humans doing it is Mother Nature does not have an end result already pegged out. That's called checkmate. Y'all can't get around that. Because if you agree that all canines come from the gray wolf, nature didn't do that, human beings did that. Now, very, very interesting, Kalam. How do they get around that? They can't get around that. They're over in their little corner on YouTube right now looking real dumb. See? So you telling me human beings can breed selectively and form different types of canines, but Mother Nature can't do the same thing? Really? Man, y'all don't read enough, man. They don't read enough, Kalam. They don't read enough. See, they never thought about that. That's in that video. That's in them slides we got. That's Kalam. Do you know how easy it is to understand that? Human beings is called artificial selection. Can select the traits that they want to select and breed them together to get that same trait over and over and over again, bro. They can make certain dogs that get smaller dogs. Make certain big dogs that get bigger dogs. Humans can do that. So why can't Mother Nature, that is far more powerful than just single human beings, do it?
True, true. And you know what? I just want to sidetrack this conversation ever so slightly. Earlier on, you was mentioning about when you was actually on your tour, going to the different museums, and you met up with a particular individual who is a descendant of the person who brought up the idea of Mu and Lemuria. Is that correct?
No, you got that all mixed up. That was
Okay, go
Brother
ahead.
Ish. That was Brother Ish. Go ahead, Ish. He just ran across the person's the grandkids. Go ahead, Ish.
Yeah, back in like about 2009, the Churchward family, which is one of the families that was a proponent of the land of Mu, James Churchward. I came across his family in order to dispel the myth of this land of Mu and Lemuria. I waged war on the family in order to change the minds of our people. So in other words, I wanted to go to the source of this particular myth and challenge this myth on either proving that claim or coming forward and denouncing the falsehood that their ancestors have been perpetrating. And I contacted the Churchward family, and I came once we had an agreement of them not being able to prove that particular history. They came forward with videos denouncing their family's work as far as the validity of this land of Mu claim, as well as trying to correct the errors of what's been put forth by their ancestor. So that's how we end up getting on that, brother. I think your mic is muted, brother.
Yeah, I was just literally saying that is absolutely powerful. You literally got them to change and overturn all of that. You know what? And I'm watching your top. You got an Amon Ra Squad hoodie on right now.
Yeah.
And I just want you lot to just let me know, where can we actually purchase some of the material that you've got on right now?
Man, you can go to the stores, man. We got man, eventually everybody gonna have a store on the platform. You can go to the AmonRaSquad.org, AmonRa.org, right? You can go to the Amon Ra Squad Marketplace. Go to the marketplace and you can actually get the gear. You know, this is the Amon Ra Squad No Pseudo. We got the No Pseudo gear, No Pseudo hats. You know what I'm saying? Meaning we're authentic. Okay? I gave the definition of what No Pseudo was. What Pseudo is just No Pseudo around here. So we're not you know, we just not buying that, man. We got all the gear. We got the microwave scholarship shirts. Man, we got the gear, bruh. So
And I know that you got that fresh RBG
got
Africa.
the shoes, got the leather shoes should be coming out at the end of the month, the beginning of the next month, maybe 2 weeks into next month. Got the leather hot tops coming out. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man.
And you know, I'm sure I've seen this Black African Power. I'm just looking right now on the website. I'm pretty sure I've seen this Black African Power T-shirt with the African fist coming out. I'm sure I've seen this over here in the UK. I'm positive I've seen this over here in the UK.
Yeah, that's it right there, man.
Wow.
The Black African Power right there, man. You know, because everybody is African on the planet, yo. But it's only us, yo, the Black Africans, man. So
if I wanted to get something like this shipped over here, how much is it going to cost me in terms of shipping?
all you gotta do is order. It's gonna tell you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's good. You know what else have you got on this Amon Ra Squad page?
Got some books. You got right here. You got the Magi Multimedia, Hecka Multimedia. He got the most. You know, he just hogging up the space.
Wow.
That's the Magi right there. You got the book.
The Magi right here. We've got his book, and we've got his apparel as well. But I want to go. Let's go on to the Hecka Multimedia, because we need to start supporting our own. Buying from our own and supporting our own.
Yeah, he off the chain.
Oh man. So we got the women's clothing, men's clothing, children's clothing.
Yeah, he off the chain.
Oh man. So yeah, we're here. So I'm gonna come out of this because I know, you know, there's so much we can actually look at right now. You know, let's actually support our own. You know what? We spend so much money, £300 or $300 for new sneakers. You know, $50 for new sneakers. You know, supporting your own. Like, come on, let's do this. Like, let's get black economics or group economics on full flow. So you know what?
And just to let your listening audience also know, we're doing some great additional upgrades to the website. Also, we'll be offering some exclusive content, which deals with a lot of our exclusive information. We'll have private interviews. We'll have celebrity and special guests that are coming through to share important information for our members only. And our members only are for paid members that will have that access, as well as discounts to some of the live feeds of what we'll be offering in the future. You can get that information on our website, and I think Brother Ankh wants to highlight some work right now.
No, that's real, yo. We need to start having that paid content for support. We got over 10,000 members in the group, and if 10,000 members in the group gave us $1 a month, man, that's $10,000 a month that we could use to go around and lecture for free. You know what I'm saying? To go around and start schools. $1 from everybody. Go figure that. I mean, it's not hard, man. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It don't take a lot from everybody, man. And that's like the biggest lesson I learned from Marcus Garvey, because they gave like pennies and quarters and all that. You know what I'm saying? So, interesting.
That's interesting. So hold on, you're telling me how many people you got in your group?
Over 10,700, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, we have like 11,000 or
Yeah,
something like that as we're growing, and it's a very active forum. Uh, your listening audience is welcome to join. It's Amira Squad Scholarship on Facebook. Again, Amira Squad Scholarship. You can get the most up-to-date information of things and projects that we have that are taking place. We welcome anyone to come in as long as you are of indigenous persuasion and you're open-minded. If you're coming in with a false ideology, please stay away. If you're coming to disrupt the vibe and the information and the flow as it goes to our people, please stay away. And if you are anti-African, please stay away. Anyone else is more than welcome to join. We'll welcome you. We'll embrace you. We'll learn from you, and we'll be happy to also teach you.
yeah, yeah. We'll beat you up too with that scholarship. Hey,
Pseudo.
where you at, Dr. Oya? Where you at?
I'm right here. Hotep,
You
Hotep,
got in the
Hotep,
building. Got the sisterhood in the building.
Hotep, great mother.
Hotep. King, how are you?
All is
Ish,
well,
can you hear
sis.
me?
Yes,
Dr.
all is
Dr.
well,
Dr.
sis.
Mayad, peace and love, man. Peace and love,
Oh,
Dr.
peace,
Mayad.
King. How are you? How are
I'm
you?
great, man. I'm great. I'm great, Queen. Okay, I'm great. I'm great.
So,
Congratulations on the
so what is the
the
bill?
whole project,
What is
by
the
the way.
bill tonight?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much, King. Thank you so much. So, what are you guys building on tonight?
We want to talk about the cartoon, the animated lesson. Jump right in.
All right, but before I came in, what were you guys building on? Because I heard
Build,
Ish,
building
brother
on
Ish said he didn't want anybody.
project, see?
Dr. Oya Mathematical Ma'at.
Is that brother Wajaru,
Yeah,
Ujaru,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and brother Kalam?
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, King. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. Finally, we've actually got you, on Talk with the Titans. So I'm happy. I'm happy.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be on here. I'm sorry that I'm late, but it's a pleasure to be on the show. And so you guys are building on economics tonight, huh?
Anything we want to talk about. Period.
Okay.
Pseudo
All
ship.
right.
We
You
was
said what, brother Unk?
Pseudo ship.
we were literally
Oh
singing your
man.
praises. We were singing your praises on the animation that you've got out, that you built around your family, teaching them about economics, showing them they can do for self, create their own business, be their own producers of their own work, being voiceovers, actors, etc. So I don't know if you could just give us a quick, not even a quick, give us a run through of Ed Anime and this wonderful project that you have going on.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Ed Anime Productions, a company that I created, a co-founder with my children, my family, my cousins, about 2 years ago. Ed Anime is short for educational animation, and we create educational products for elementary and middle school children in the areas of history, mathematics, and science. In October 2014, we started on our first history series entitled Mel Trek. Mel is short for melanin. Trek means journey, so we're taking you on a journey to understand the history and culture of a melanated people. We released our first episode, or the first installment of the series, which is going to consist of 8 animated lessons. And the first lesson is entitled Exploring Ancient Africa. Now, the storyline involves a magical teacher by the name of Miss Lofton, and I named Miss Lofton in honor of a teacher, my ninth grade high school teacher, who actually sparked the desire in me to learn my history. So, I named her in honor of her. So Miss Lofton takes 5 of her students: Bunchy, who was named in honor of Bunchy Carter; Percy, who was named in honor of Huey P. Newton; Michelle, who was named in honor of Michelle Obama; and then we have 2 foreign characters, Jesse and Chin. So she sends these 5 characters back in time to explore different eras, African American history. And the first era that we explore is pre-diaspora Africa. And the objective of the first installment is to show our children that our history does not begin with slavery. You know, that we once had, you know, our own kingdoms, our own pharaohs and queens, and, you know, our own resources, control of our natural resources. So that is really the objective of the first episode. So we start their journey in the Nile Valley, and we teach them about the pyramids. We teach them about the black pharaohs and black queens. They learn about King Nama, Zoser, Hatshepsut, Cleopatra. Then we take them over to the west part, the western region of Africa, and teach them about Ghana. And we teach them that before Ghana was known as the Slave Coast, it was known as the Gold Coast. It was known as the Pepper Coast and the Ivory Coast. And we teach them about Sundiata Keita and some of the rulers of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. Then we take them to the central region and teach them about the Congo region, the Twa people. And we take them down to Zimbabwe, and we talk to them, go further south and teach about the Zulu. So all around Africa, and teach them about different things and different people. And currently we're working on episode 2, where we're going to explore pre-Columbian America. So I know that that's getting ready to shake up the world, because we're going to highlight the African presence in the Americas prior to Columbus. So we're going to mention the great explorer. Some people call him Abubakari, but I think, and Brother Ishmael can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the correct pronunciation of his name is Abu Bakr. I think it's Abu Bakr, yes, but we're going to, yes, it's Abu Bakr. So we're going to mention him. We're going to mention the 17 shipwrecked Africans who landed in Ecuador and ruled a province in Ecuador. We're going to also mention the African king who lived in Bolivia, whose name is, I want to say, is Beneficio Pinedo. So we're going to highlight that there was an African presence in the Americas prior to Columbus, and I want to add this disclaimer because I had some dialogue with a few Native Americans on Instagram. In no way, shape, or form are we trying to usurp the history of the Native Americans in Meltrek episode 2. We're only trying to highlight our history and let our children know that it's a misconception that the first time Africans were on a boat was during the African diaspora, or that was the first time that we traveled the seas or been to the quote-unquote New World. So in no way are we trying to usurp Native American culture or history and claim to be the founders and builders of it. What we are simply trying to do with Meltrek episode 2 is to highlight that there was an African presence here in the Americas prior to the Spanish explorers.
Hey, you know what? And see, that's where the pseudo ship come in, because we got a lot of pseudo information out there.
Right. Exactly.
We got a lot of pseudo information out there, man. And so when you bring up that episode, people automatically jump to their guns. But they got something coming. They got something coming, boy. They got something.
Yeah, I mean, they do. You know, I've already been receiving backlash from it, and I'm, haven't even put it out there yet. But they do. They think that when you say, hey, there was an African presence in the Americas, they automatically assume that, you're trying to say that, we came over and we built this or we did that, like we're trying to ebonize their culture. And that's not my objective in Meltrek episode 2. I just want our children, I want our babies to know on, prior to the African diaspora. We mentioned the papyrus ship in the Pyramid of Khufu. We mentioned the 10,000-year-old ship in Dalfuna. I want to say that's Nigeria. And we talk about, I think it's Seneferu, who built a fleet of ships. So we talk about the shipbuilding in Africa. I'm sorry, in Africa, and we mentioned, African exploration by, highlighting the fact that we were here, prior to the African diaspora. So yeah, there are a lot of pseudo claims that, Africans were the Aborigines of, the Americas, and that's not what we support. And so I just wanted to add that disclaimer. I'm gonna add that disclaimer Trek episode 2. That's not, what Ed Anime Productions is doing. We're not trying to usurp, the.
You got some good information on there that people ain't never heard. That's what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, I tried to beat it up. You smacked me out. You feel me? So come on, man. He was like, bam, bam. I'm like, let me get,
You sure did. You sure did. As soon as I said I was going to mention the African presence, oh my goodness, you had a heart attack. No, we weren't over. No.
In coupling the scholarship of what comes out through the Meltrek series, I think it is very important for us to dive deeper into the African presence in the Americas pre-Columbus as well as even post-Columbus. There's been a deletion of the African presence and the influence within the Americas. So even just after Columbus, the second president of Mexico was African. They ignore that. They delete that history. How do you delete the second president of Mexico being African?
Wow.
And why don't our children know that? And what about the influence of so many other things within the Americas of our children don't know that the state of New Mexico was founded by an African. They don't know that. So how did this African found New Mexico that's still acknowledged today by the New Mexican Indian tribes? Why do they wear that crescent moon around their neck? How was it delivered to them? Our children need to know that, because when they go through New Mexico and they see these turquoise pieces of these crescent moons, they need to know the root of that is an African. So and how influenced was it? Why were they writing these African scripts and Arabic scripts and speaking certain languages in certain locations in the Americas? We need to explore that even more, and it will couple and validate the great works of what's done in Meltrek and freeing the minds of our people, because we did not just come over on slave ships, and we have a far longer history than what they're trying to tell us to do. So we need to go to battle with the Mexican scholars. We need to go to battle with anyone who's trying to minimize our span and influence all throughout world history.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, Brother Ish. I couldn't agree with you more. And and that's why it's just important, for the masses and for us to support, endeavors such as Meltrek. To get, we need to provide the world with a Eurocentric and Afrocentric perspective on history. You know what I mean, Brother Ish? Because when you allow your child to be indoctrinated with a Eurocentric view of the world, this is what you get. That's what you get. I've never even heard of the black president in Mexico, and the fact that Mexico was established by a black man. I was busy doing the homework on pre-Columbia, the pre-Columbian era. But you just gave me some things to brush up on, and I can agree with you more that these things need to be highlighted.
Absolutely. The black townships that were established by the Mexican government, opening up their doors, allowing for the Africans to come and establish these black townships of freedom. These are very, very important instrumental things in order for us as African people. They allow for the Seminoles and for these Creeks to come in there, set up those townships right on the border. So these are very rich history and relationships that our children need to know about.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt.
That's
No
powerful.
doubt.
That's
Yeah, I don't
absolutely
do that.
powerful.
You
You know
know
what? I
me,
want to
boy.
just quickly open it up because I know we've got so many people that want to ask questions to the Amon Ra squad. So I'm going to open it up to one of our callers in right now, to a brother that I'm sure most of you who actually watch our debate series on Titans TV, which is Speaker's Corner, you know, you hear his music being played as an intro as well as an outro, as well as, you know, a Team Osiris being flashed up on every single one of our Speakers Corners DVD. So I'm sorry, Speakers Corner debate series. So I'm going to open it up to Wali Akhtab. Wali, if you're there, I know you've got a question to ask pertaining to evolution. So if you're free, please ask away.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Peace, everybody. Peace, brother Ankh Ish. Also, Dr. Ma'at, man, you are a favorite in this house. Everybody in my house loves you to death. Just want to let you know that. I wanted to
Are
ask
you
brother greetings. I wanted to ask brother Ankh really quick. I know that everybody's always bugging him about evolution, and I'm a real big supporter of the Amon-Ra Squad. Everything y'all do, man, is just right on point. I wanted to know if you ever thought of anybody has ever thought about the weeks that babies go through, you know, from week 1 to week 40. Isn't that a sign of evolution as well? Because, you know, a baby doesn't start out at week 1 or week 3, 8 pounds, 6 ounces with a heartbeat, you know, full fingers. So I wanted to know if, you know what I'm saying, has anybody ever thought about that?
It's kind of like adaptation, like you know, fetus maturing, stem cell transforming. That's like transformation.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to because I always thought about that as like, you know, just simply as something changing from something
Yeah,
else.
it is. It is. It's a transformation and change. I mean, it shows you that nothing is a daggone solid brick and pops up out of nowhere. That's for sure, man. And that's the hardest thing for people to see, man. They're not looking at based off of Europeanisms, right? We have separated ourselves based off of religion. We have separated ourselves from the whole of nature and allowed someone to tell us that something that is separate from nature has made us. That absolutely makes no sense. So in actuality, evolution seeks to explain the diversity that's on planet Earth. It does not seek to explain how life got on Earth. It does not seek to kill away your mythology, right? It does not. It just simply seeks to explain how on Earth that different organisms can share in DNA, bruh. Like, and no one, I don't even ask people the tough questions because if it really got thick, I would just start asking people questions. I don't even ask people questions like, okay, since chimpanzees and human beings, right, are two separate organisms, how in the hell can they share DNA? Ain't nobody gonna give me that answer because there's only one thing that we can observe, right? That those two organisms, right, share in a common ancestor. That's the only answer you have. Whatever answer could you use for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know what I mean? It's just important because I sat in a chair 10 years ago saying I'm not going to deal with that monkey shit, excuse my language, right? And I had an elder who I never disrespected. He just beat me up every week. And I'll never forget in the African history class at the Shrine of Black Madonna, Brother Olatunja. Every week he just beat me up. He said it's on because I was a New Wapian. I'm talking crazy. He's like, all right, we're going to get it in every week in class. And we got it in. Week 1, I was strong. Week 2, I was almost strong. Week 3, I was fading down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? By the time 3 months got in, and he allowed me to teach my first class, they kind of set me up. It's on YouTube. Daggone sister was like, hey, Unc, you're so African. Since you're so African, what the hell problems do you have with the monkeys? I had to scratch my head. It hit me like a ton of bricks that why do I have a problem with the monkeys? And I had to realize that racism, white supremacy had taught me to hate the whole of nature. And I had to get right back in my mind to understand that everything is interrelated. Like John Henry Clark say, everything is everything. And so if everything is everything, modern science seeks to explain that. And so how else do you explain it? You look at the Egyptians. They had a methodology of explaining nature. You know, Ujao translated the mathematical papyrus. Maybe he'll talk about that, right? Where you see the scientific method right in front of your eyes. So this science thing, man, ain't nothing new. And it's very disrespectful to our ancestors that created the method of looking at nature. Very disrespectful, man. And it's not the Amaral Squad thing to try to make a person understand evolution. That ain't really our thing. We're just trying to say, look, man, use your mind. Go ahead, brother.
So I mean, beyond, I just want to add to that because that makes a lot of sense. Beyond that, would it be fair to say that not only do we share common traits with other primates, but we also share stuff with different things that have come from outside of the planet? I mean, like mercury or iron or stuff like that that's grabbed on to different things and helped form the Earth as it is today. Are we not a composite of all the elements, is what I'm saying?
Well, watch this. They're not coming from outside because exactly where are we right now? Do you know where we are right now, brother? Take a guess. Where are we?
We're on Earth.
No, we're in space. We're in space. On a pile of dirt. I promise you, that's what we. So everything is in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're all in space, and it's not hard to figure that out. And so you're right. The natural elements. The question is, I'll never forget this, man. I was taking a college course, and they was talking about the exact thing he was talking about. And they were saying, well, how can you prove that there are other elements, right, in other star systems? They say, we can prove it. Guess why? Because each element gives off certain different color signatures. And all they got to do is look for those different color signatures, and then they'll go potassium, magnesium, iron, boom, 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 all reside there based off of the color signatures.
Golly, brother. Brother, I keep taking me back to the periodic table. Remember the periodic table?
Yeah. The periodic table. They got empty spaces in the periodic table.
They sure did.
They know it's something there, but they haven't devised a system to kind of capture that element yet. Come on, man. Like, stop it. Like, the alien garbage, the whole 9 yards, man. Stop it.
Like, yeah, I think what you call it, what was his name? Pharaoh something. I think he forgot that, because I think he was talking about the 10th planet. I think he forgot that Pluto ain't even a planet no more.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to add something. People seem to skip over, and it's a very profound statement. It's real simple, that every single person, every single animal ever born is the same species as its parents. And if people pause and think about that for a second, every single person and animal and plant is the same species as its parent. So when you think about evolution and you think about that statement, you'll realize that when we discuss evolution scientifically, what people are really having a problem with are the labeling systems that are given to different differentiations over long periods of time, where we can make these distinctions. But in essence, every single plant and every single person is the same species as its parent and their children as well. So you think about it in a chronological time period, the farther you go back, there's never a point where one species gave birth to a different species. There's no such thing, because you are the same species as your parent.
Yeah, that's not evolution. That's foolery, like a quacker duck.
Exactly.
An alligator duck.
Exactly. So that people need to really think about that.
Yeah, everybody need to really take their time and just learn the terminology, man. Like people have said 1,000,000 times, yo, we don't come from monkeys. Why didn't the Amaral Squads teach that? Charles Darwin didn't teach that. We ain't never taught that. And you talked about the naming systems. I'm not opposed. Watch this. I would never be opposed to African people adding African terms You know what I'm saying? But you know what you're gonna find out? If you got this money right here, right, two $10 bills, and you want to no longer call them a $10 bill, you want to call it a boo-boo, right? You're gonna find out that this boo-boo and this boo-boo got the same things in common. So even if you change the terminology, you're gonna find out that these two things gonna have the same things in common. You're not gonna get away from that. So if you don't want to use the word primate and you want to use sababoo, right? You're gonna find out that the sababoos all carry the same types of things: appendages, larynxes, hair. You know what I'm saying? That you're like a mammal. I mean, it's the reason why they call things mammals. Mammals have hair. You know, mammals give birth a certain way. A kangaroo is a mammal, but it's a certain type of mammal. It's no getting away from that. So, I mean, even a whale and a dolphin are mammals. They're not fish. You know why? But they're vertebrates. Why are they vertebrates? Because they have spines, right? We was in the museum and we seen the skeletons, and me and Ish talked about how, look at these different quote-unquote primates, but look at the skeletal systems. That's why they're similar, because they carry skeletal systems. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so you got reptiles or turtles. You also have amphibians. I mean, they're categories. And I mean, you know what, man? Look, at the end of the day, man, I think it's important to understand evolution, because if we are going to run infrastructures, if we are going to deal with running our own civilizations and culture, man, we got to be able to deal with things that transform and change. So you got to be able to deal with that.
All right. As we're running into the very last segment of the show right now, I'm going to ask everybody who has asked their question just to literally drop out so we can get everybody in who wants to ask their questions to the Amun-Ra squad. We've actually got a question right here from Ashamed to Be Here. My question to Ankh is twofold. One, where is the missing link? Two, if we Homo sapiens have evolved from monkeys, then are you saying the white man is the greatest species since they are the latest? And that is from Ashamed to Be Here.
You know what? Based off of what Ashamed to Be Here, you ought to be ashamed to be here for that question.
I knew you was going to get started, brother.
Bonafire upon that. There goes that monkey talk again, man.
Right.
Because nothing that person just said, right, actually fits in the scientific community. It actually fits in the religious pseudo community, because no scientist would say any of those things. Like, I'm understanding that you don't understand evolution, so you should do this. Look, watch this.
Uh-oh, you're getting ready to get a book, Brother Garfield.
Look, all you gotta do, look. Before you come ask Brother Uncle a question again, read this book right here, Evolution for Dummies. Because you're a dummy on the subject matter. Watch this. Evolution does not teach just because something, right, came after something, that thing would either be superior or less superior. That's not what evolution teaches. That's not evolution. That's called racism, white supremacy. I'm going to say it again. Evolution does not teach. Because the Europeans, right, pale-skinned gene happened around 10, 15,000 years ago. That does not mean that they are superior. Or the last thing that was made is made more superior. That's called racism, white supremacy, and ignorance of the subject matter. Plain and simple. Matter of fact, your question wasn't even directed at evolution. It was directed at something somewhere over there. None of your questions had anything to do with evolution, so I know you do not understand the subject matter. Just like Ali Baba Muhammad, he did not understand the subject matter. He did not understand the terms used. Let me show you why. When you look at A00, or when you look at the 3.5 million year old footprint, they say 3.5 year old human footprint. Oh man, humans are here 3.5 million years ago. Yes, but not AMH, not anatomically modern humans, AMH. Because when you use the term human, you got at least 27 different types of humans that resided on the planet. Most people don't know that. Homo heidelbergensis is a human. Homo ergaster is a human. Homo neanderthal is a human. Homo sapiens sapiens is a human, which is a different species. So most people don't understand the subject matter. So once again, evolution does not teach that the last thing that comes up on the evolutionary chain is more superior or less superior. It does not teach that. So, it's just interesting how people, they want to talk the talk, but they don't want to read and study and walk the walk. Learn what evolution is first.
I want to add something also for the person that asked that question, is that the term great apes these are taxonomic words, biological taxonomy, and I suggest your listeners to look that up. These are classifications. Great apes is synonymous with hominid. You have hominidae, which humans or Homo sapiens sapiens are. So when people say, do humans or the fact that we don't come from monkeys or we are not apes or do we come from apes, etc., human beings of today are great apes, and that's a big distinction or something that people have to wrap their mind around. It's just a classification. Human beings of today are classified as great apes. We don't come from great apes. We are great apes. It's just a classification term. And if people don't like that term, great apes, then just use the word hominid. And then
use primate.
Or use primate. And below that is the genus, which is Homo. That's where you get the different homos. So you have Homo, and then you have the other classifications that come after that. So this is real important. People need to become more literate of the different terminologies, and then we will have better discussions and better questions and better dialogue.
Yeah, it's right here. Y'all see the screen, right? Everybody see the screen?
Yeah, we see the screen. We see it.
Yes, sir.
Here you go right here. All right? Man, right in front of your face. You got Lucy. Okay, scientific classification. Lucy's right there. Kingdom, Animalia. All right? Man, you got Homo ergaster. Kingdom, Animalia. You got Homo erectus. Kingdom, Animalia. Watch this. Phylum, Chordea. Phylum, Chordea. Phylum, Chordea. Look it up what a Chordea is. Look it up. Watch this. Homo sapiens. Kingdom, animal. Phylum, Chordea. Class, Mammalia. Class, Mammalia. It's right here. Homo erectus is in the same class as Homo sapiens sapien. But if you move down, look at the genius. The genius in a homogeneous. I told you. Genius, the homogeneous, Homo ergaster, Homo afarensis, which is Australopithecus. That's not in a homogeneous family, see? Take your time. The species, this species is Homo erectus. This species is Homo sapien. This species is Homo adultus, which is archaic human. It's not hard, family. You just got to start running your mouth. Take your time and answer the question, because I didn't forget the whole question. It was a long question. The answer is we are all missing links in the puzzle. Thought I forgot, didn't y'all? Nope.
Hey, yo, Unc, this Kufu. What's up, man?
What's going on, Kufu?
Yeah, all they got to do is they could check out a good documentary on that. When people talk about this missing link, it's called Dawn of Humanity, and it came out on PBS. And this documentary was basically when they found the Homo naledi in South Africa in the Rising Star Cave, and they brought the when they found some of the bones, and the area that they found it in, the cave was very hard to get to, so they brought a whole National Geographic team out there to film the whole research dig, the excavation, and one thing about it, when they found Homo naledi, they thinking that it could be a new species, for the simple fact that it had modern, like feet, modern hands, modern jawbones, but it had other primitive proportions like Australopithecus features, within its limb proportions. So basically, what they came to understand is that there might not be no missing link. because
Ah,
the breeding within
go.
within these families have been going backwards and forward
There you
since
go.
time immemorial.
Thank
Just
you.
like when you go to East Asia or you go to Asia and you see the people in Tibet, how can they breathe in those mountains, in those areas? A normal person can't go into those mountains, but they realized when they looked at the human, the HLA, the human nuclear antigens, that they had Denisovian genes in them, and they also had Neanderthal in them. And they say some of them could have even mixed with Homo erectus, but for the simple fact that when humans left out of Africa and went into like Asia, certain areas, they didn't have a diverse immune system to survive in those areas. So by breeding with populations that was already there for thousands of years, they gave them a more chance of survival. So they had to pick up different genetic traits in order to survive in different areas. So that's another thing people need to take a look at and remember as well.
So, hey, brother Kufu, I got a quick question. You said it's called, the name of the documentary is called Dawn of the what?
Dawn of Humanity.
Dawn of Humanity. And did they ever, because I read the article like back in May on the National Geography or National Geographic magazine. Did they ever date that that new species, or did they ever date it?
I think the dating that they're coming out with, because of the age of it, is I think they're coming out with a new way to date it this year. Actually, it's either this year
Okay.
or next year. It's a new technology that they got to use.
Wow. Okay. So they're not using the traditional dating stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
And we can't forget about the Cororapithecus, which is definitely changing the data, pushing the common ancestor further back, almost 2 million years, from 10 to 8 million years, when they say the common ancestor split and environmental pressures started the different differentiations. And there's
So it's pushing it back, Wajru, from 7.4 to what, 10 now?
from approximately 8 to 10.
What y'all talking about?
Wow.
The Cororapithecus abyssinicus.
Oh, okay. The new one, 2.7. Somebody told me 2.7.
No, they.
And one of the supporters said, Brother Darrell, he said, the Earth and the universe is nothing but a huge recyclable machine that never stops. That is absolutely right. Everything is biodegradable, right? That's why we do what we're supposed to do while we're here. There's no coming back because there is nowhere to go. Everything will be recycled. Nature does that exact science of using everything. So, you know what I'm saying? So, y'all, while y'all waiting to go to heaven, Unc ain't worrying about going to heaven. Because in heaven, you know they say they got 144,000 males that ain't
Men.
had sex going to heaven.
Men, come on. That's what's
You know what I'm
going
saying?
on
I'm
in
saying
their
it
heaven.
again. Read the text. 144,000 men,
Men.
virgins,
Uh-huh.
going to heaven. Unc
Never
ain't
been
going
touched
there
by
with
a
a whole bunch
woman.
of hard dicks. My fault.
Mm.
For eternity. Think
Okay.
about that now.
And you know what? I just want to let
Crazy.
everybody know who wants to actually get in. There is the link in the description box, literally down below. It's called the call-in link. It's called the call-in link. There's a Hangout links that will take you right in to this Hangout right now. And I'm going to ask you, when you come in, please be respectful. Ask a question, and I'm going to have to ask you just to leave so we have more room, because we literally reached the last section of the show right now. So if there's anybody on the panel that's just entered and if they've got a question, please ask it right now.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, people.
Walaikum
Salami and
assalam,
bacon.
King. How you
Salami
doing?
and bacon.
Walaikum
Salami and bacon.
salam. Peace. How you doing, brother?
What did he just say? Bacon.
Salami and bacon.
Salami slapped me up about bacon. And for your information, Unc, talk about the Muslim heaven, the Orthodox Muslim heaven. You got 72 virgins up there for you, boy.
Yeah.
Don't worry
I like that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I like that. You're right. I like that.
Okay, I've got a question. I just want to put a question to you, which someone may ask. What would you say is the difference between let's say us then, looking at the output of scientists who do the experiments and present it back to us, and we logicize it and then say, accept it to be factual and true, and somebody else to accept what his imam or priest or rabbi tells them. So I'm saying, because we don't have laboratories, we don't actually do the archaeology ourselves, what would you say is the difference? As in belief. Like somebody might say that we're trusting the scientists and they're trusting their imams, their pastors and their rabbis. What would you say is the difference? And that's the brother Ishmael, Uncle Ishmael, I think.
Indeed. What I would say is, I guess one is rooted in faith and doctrine, and the other one is independent of the faith and the doctrine. You can have a religious perspective and attempt to back up certain parts of science to further the belief in one's doctrine. But to be dealing with it in a scholarship point of view, it's going to be independent of a person's religious faith if you're going to be true to the science itself. It has to be independent of one's dogmatic belief. So one is just going to be dealing with the facts and the data, and it will lead you wherever it's going to go. Someone else may be led by a dogma or a belief, we'll say, for instance, a Bible. And if you're dealing with a Bible with a history of 6,000 years, you now have to reason with yourself of how are you going to justify such a vast history and then capsulize that and minimize that to only 6,000 years. And then how do you justify languages that are 12 and 60 and 70,000 years?
Come on.
You know, or rock formations, or the magnetic embed into the stone itself, or dinosaurs, and all these other things. You have to justify that and weave that into your philosophy of faith, or you may lose your sanity because you're enslaved to a book and a doctrine. I don't have that burden because I can just embrace the truth and embrace it from an African perspective, and it overrides any religious philosophy that I would ever espouse. I use religion, as in my faith, in order to help guide me and to keep me on a path that I feel comfortable in, but not if it's ever in conflict with the truth.
Yeah, that's deep.
Powerful, powerful, brother.
Okay. Let me just say this. For those people, for instance, who believe in their voodoo elders, and they actually have a culture where they experience either what's foretold, or if they get someone to do what is called magic, so-called magic on somebody, and generation after generation, they see it manifest. So therefore they believe in it. Would you not also say that's science?
Can I address that?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay. First of all, you brought up magic. Magic is only magic.
Sorry, I said so-called magic.
Right. So-called magic is only magic to those who are ignorant to how it operates and how it works. To those who know how it works and how it operates and actually perform it and apply it, it is science to them. And when you asked your first question, one of the major differences between someone believing science and someone believing religious belief system is that the person that believes science doesn't really believe science. There's a difference. It needs to be a distinction made that science means to know, and science is the method in which we know when we know something. So science is not asking or demanding or coercing anyone to believe it. And this is why a scientist cannot be lazy. A scientist has to do a tremendous amount of work in order to be classified as a scientist or have a scientific mind or be scientifically literate. So it's totally different. Yes.
Sorry to cut you. The question was more about the same way how, let's say, some people trust the scientists, not the science itself. They trust the scientists, and then this person trusts their priests or their elders. And I'm saying, let's say we don't have our own laboratories, we don't do the archaeology ourselves, we don't do the DNA ourselves. Both people may be justified to this degree where I'm saying, if in someone's life, they've gone to a priest or whoever it is, and they've said, look, this is going to happen, here's something, carry this on you, this will protect you from this situation. And it happens maybe 10 times in their life. that to them would be science. They would be justified in believing that. So I'm saying not the science itself. I'm talking about the experience of trusting.
See, that's why I wanted to make clear.
Joe.
Say it again. I just wanted to make clear the difference between science, because what you're in your question, you're setting up a improper comparison, and that's what I'm trying to show you, that science is you say, you know, when a person trusts a scientist or a person trusts their imam or minister or whatever, a scientist is not a scientist without the science. So when you say a person is trusting a scientist, then it is no different than someone trusting a minister. But we don't even have to use those labels as a scientist or minister. Anybody trusting in anything would be a simple trust or faith or belief. So you know, I'm just saying we have to be careful about making those comparisons where they don't really fit together.
Let me say this. When you drive a car, right, you're actually driving technology and science, right? The difference between religion and science is science shows and proves itself. It's simple. Like when some people say alternative medicine, there's no such thing as alternative medicine. It's either medicine that works or it don't work. So either the priest, whatever they're doing, it either works or it don't work. Science, right? It's as simple. It's not even complicated. Either you can go hamina and block them damn bullets, or you can't. Either you can tell the future, right, with somebody coming down to your tribe and protect you, or you can't. It's not complicated. Science ain't complicated either. Science shows and proves itself. You got good science and bad science. Science that ain't working right. The numbers ain't coming together. Things aren't holding up. Buildings fall down all the time based off of bad engineering. So, I mean, you know, this is not even they shouldn't even be discussed in the same thing. A man should be able to have his faith and his beliefs if he so chooses to, right? And, you know, and you should be able to deal, you have to deal with science. Like you can't get away from Mother Nature. And there's only one way that you can deal with nature, and that's to observe her. She has all the answers for you. And this is all the Nile Valley Africans were talking about when they kind of produced this document right here. This your document. Hold on. This your document right here, Joe. Hold on. Let me show them this. Because I think sometimes we get it mixed up. And this two shouldn't even be mixed up. I mean, Ishmael just told you, man, look, I'm a Muslim. I got my, with a faith, but then I'm not going in the face of goddamn common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like the Africans should have never abandoned science. Should have never did it. So watch this right here. Let me show you something. Y'all see the screen, right? It's right here in front of your face. All right, y'all see the screen, right?
Yep.
Here you go. The Rhine Mathematical Papyrus, 1650 BC. Copied by, what's that, Ahmose, right, from 1850. It's the Rhine Mathematical Papyrus. Why is this significant? It's right here. Page 1, translation by Oyo. Talk to us with exact, look, right here, right? It say the correct method
your screen.
of investigation.
You got to click on
it. Change. Click on the one. Click on the one you're quoting, bro.
Can you see it?
No, you have to click on the one that you're talking about because we see the beginning, the first.
Right. Well, let me see. You should click.
I just want to, brother Unc, I just want to clarify. Your answer is the answer that I've given, and that is the application of it. When you see it manifested, that's when you know the science working.
Yep.
I probably should have asked you first. So I was going to say that had that been the first answer, that would have led to what I was going to say next, but that would probably go into a lot more deeper things. But anyway, continue, please.
Yeah. Can y'all see? Is the screen showing now again?
No.
I can see your screen. It's just that the particular slide is your first slide. You got to click on whatever slide number you're talking.
It has the picture of the scarab capora. All right, here we go.
Right. That's how that's it.
There it is.
Huh?
There it is. Keep it. That's the one.
Let me see. All right, hold
on.
Hold on.
Tep Hesab. Correct method.
Wait.
What's going on?
Is it gone again?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just it's just showing your very first slide. If you're in slide sharing mode, play mode, you have to share your whole screen and not just that app.
Yeah, I thought I was showing the whole. Hold on, let me do this. I'm gonna do it like this. That's what I'm gonna do so we can get in here. I think
That's
this is
good enough.
very, very important. Huh?
What you had there was good enough. We could read it.
Try it one more time.
While you're doing that, I just want to, reiterate that, a lot of us, we really have to go back to the drawing board and understand what these things are, because a lot of the problems that people are having in discussing evolution is due to people misunderstanding what evolution is. And the same thing with science. If people slow it down and just go back to the drawing board and acquaint yourself with what is science and what is evolution, what is a theory? What is a theory? People think theories are just hunches and just guesses. I hear people say it's just a theory, it's not a fact, and things like that. When people say that, it just shows that they don't understand what a theory is in the first place. And the same thing about conversations about science. They ask about science. They don't understand what science is and how it's applied and what it means. So I just implore everyone to really just slow down and go back.
Okay, with y'all.
Hold on. Y'all see the
brother
screen?
Issa.
Y'all see the screen?
Yeah, we see.
Yeah, we got it, bro.
Right here, look. So why are we trying to overturn our ancestors? They said it in the mathematical problems. They say the correct method of investigating nature to know all that exists, all the mysteries and all the things secret. For that purpose, this scroll was copied. I mean, why we want to overturn that? That's nothing but science. That's a scientific method. Watch this, the correct method of investigating nature. I mean, I don't understand why people don't get that. It's right here in front of your face. White people didn't make that up. That's a bunch of crap, man. And we're just uneducated on the subject matter, man. And we have a limited perspective on what's really going on, man. And we're making ourselves look bad to the rest of the world. Like, watch this. Y'all see this book, right? Let me show y'all something. The mistake. Here's a mistake right here that they always do all the time. They say, well, that's a theory, right? That's not a fact. How come theories can change if it was a fact? Now, do y'all see this book, right? Here's the theory. For instance, I'm just making up. This is a scientific theory on this book. Can we all see this book, yes or no?
Hey, Unc, you got the book upside down.
No, that's cool. Let it go. Don't worry about that. It's on purpose. Let me work my magic. Watch this.
Okay, I was just making sure you knew, brother.
Here's the book, right? Based off our observation, correct? Because my hand is stuck. So all y'all can see is this front of this book, right? And all we know is this book. And so this would be the theory of this book. And on this book, there's blue writing, and there's nothing else but this book. There's nothing behind this book because our technology does not allow my hand to rotate yet. So all we can do is this. And so as of the moment, the best we know is this book, and there's nothing else on this book. There's nothing behind this book. But watch this. As we get better technology and we learn to rotate the book, all of a sudden we find out that it's not just a book, it's something else behind the book, a back scratcher. Now we can change the theory. So now a new theory is revised. The new theory includes all this information that we understood about the front of the book, and now it has the new theory includes the new information that the new technology that was pushed by science that allows us to see the back of the damn book. So you would have to change the first theory that only took into account this observation. As you get better technology, when things start to rotate now, our technology now allows us to understand that there's something behind this book, and it is this. Very simple. So we're never stuck in science. So we always say things like, as of now, this is what it is. So as of now, the only information we had was allowing us to know this. As things got better and more technology got better, now we recognize that the old theory has been overturned by the new theory. The new theory must include all the information here and add to the information, and then that theory can be overturned. That is science, and that's what our people do not understand. They think it's supposed to be stuck. Religion is stuck. Because Jesus Christ died for your sins, and you can't change that.
Wow. See, this is why I love Ankh. You know, he makes the most difficult things seem so simple. You know, on that note, we've got Brother Malik, who is just entered in the studio right now as a panel member who actually wants to ask a question. So I'm going to open it up to him for him to have his say, and we've literally reached the end of the show. So please, Brother Malik, have your say.
Peace.
Peace, my brother.
Peace, my brother. There's a lot I actually wanted to say, and I've been really trying to get in touch with Ankh to really build with him on some things, but the thing that I wanted to touch on. Excuse me?
I'll give it you, bro.
Okay. So, you know, the thing that I wanted to touch on is spirituality is very real. Not trying to sound spooky. I just think that there's some things that cannot be explained. Just as in science, and I don't discredit science. Just as there's things in science that is theory and things that's yet unknown. I just wanted to like put that out there. The other thing is the sister touched on earlier when she was talking about the Americas, Mexico in particular and stuff like that. I think that that's very important that people realize they have a very I believe it goes on both ends. It goes with the so-called Latinos. It goes with the black people here that there is a misconception of our history, that we have very much a lot in common, that we are brothers and sisters, and that white supremacy plays a role in for as far as the ignorance that we may experience from one another due to just not being educated.
Yeah. I don't know if you had a question, but
What did he say about the science and theories? What did you say, brother?
yeah, I wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, what was you saying about that?
No, I had said that just as in science, you know, there's things that cannot be explained at times. There are just theories. It doesn't mean that it's an actual fact.
No.
Do you understand, brother? Do you understand what the difference is? Do you know what a theory is? Or the scientific definition of what a theory is?
Please tell me, because I don't want to be incorrect.
Okay. When you say that something is theory, in science, a theory has been tested. You understand what I'm saying? So a scientific theory is well explained. You understand what I'm saying? And it goes through testing and it's confirmed through either like observation or experimentation. That's a scientific theory. So a scientific theory isn't a philosophy that somebody thought of. It's actually something that has been tested through experiments or observation. So it's based around facts. So you know when people think of theory, I think that people get theory and hypothesis confused. Like they treat it like it's synonymous, and it's not. So a scientific theory versus a hypothesis they're two totally different things. So when someone says, okay, this is a scientific theory, or when someone presents a scientific theory, they are presenting something that has been well explained and something that's been confirmed through observation and experimentation. Now, when you just have an hypothesis, you know, it's just an educated guess. I'm just guessing, I'm just speculating. But when I present a theory, this theory has been proven, this theory has been tested.
And
that's the difference.
I want
scientific hypothesis too. I want y'all to know that too.
And I just want to add to the sisters, Dr. Ma'at is on point. And just to add to it is that if people, I can think the easiest way for people to kind of move away from the misconception of what a theory is to just substitute the word theory with explanation. Substitute the word theory for explanation. Then say explanation of what? The explanation of a set of facts.
Yep.
That's what a theory is. A theory is a substantiated or a explanation of a well-substantiated group of facts. That's what it is. So it comes at the end of the scientific method, the process. It's not the test itself. It's not the data or the facts itself. It is the explanation of the set of facts. And this is what people got to understand. When people say, well, it's not a fact, it's just a theory, when they use the word just a theory, they're trying to belittle it. And that's just wrong.
Right.
So this is what people
Exactly.
have.
Hey, brother Ujjawa. Hey, can I chime in on that?
Sure.
Hey, peace panel. It's Brother Black Panther from Mossi Warrior Clan. The brother said that there are things that he believes that cannot be explained. And, you know, they're right. There are things in nature that we're still studying that we still don't have the 100% grasp on. But as long as we identify that it is the study of nature and not something spooky or something mystifying, that we come back to reality and we really look at what we're actually studying. To just give an example, because the system that I'm a part of is Ifa, we have a word called Awo. And Awo is the body of wisdom that preserves the rituals that communicates directly with the forces of nature. Now we have a saying called Awo Orisha that translates to the mysteries of nature. Now, as Unc said earlier, no white man made that up. That has always been the language, and it has always been what they've thought of about the forces of nature. They just named them Orishas. So I think it gets taken out of context like it's not science, but in actuality, it is science. And, you know, my Babalawo has a saying, when you go to the beach and you put your foot in the water, what happens? It gets wet. That's the traditions. It's as simple as that.
So let me. I will. What I want to say, I stand corrected on my usage of the word theory. I want to thank you for correcting me on that.
No
But
problem, brother.
let me ask you this, brother. I'm initiated in leukemia, which I'm pretty sure you know what that is.
Say it one more time, brother.
Leukemia, Santeria.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yes, okay. So I'm initiated into it. However, I'm not your typical practitioner. I don't get caught up in the whole Catholicism, Christian aspect of it too much. I just look at it as paying homage to ancestors that were Christian. I don't take it further than that. So I strictly deal with Orisha and Egun. So so let me ask you this, right? Have you ever experienced Orisha and Egun? And when you've experienced, have you ever experienced in the sense that it manifested physically?
Let me make sure I understand your question. You're saying, have I ever experienced an Orisha situation that manifested physically in my life?
Yes, as well as Egun.
Have you seen Ogun?
Egun is Yoruba for for ancestors.
No, it's ancestors.
But how can I say this? In Spanish, we use the term muerta, the dead. So
yeah, I'm familiar.
So there's a difference in the sense of you have ancestors that are biological ancestors, and ancestors in the sense that they existed. You know that are with us. So I'm asking, have you ever physically experienced Orisha and Egun?
Physically? No.
Okay. You know what?
So
hold on.
Okay.
We've actually reached the end of the show. We're going to continue this conversation off air and behind the scenes. I'm actually going to let my brother Ankh actually close us out for this show, but we're going to continue it, off air later on. And everybody who's actually tuned in right now, there is actually the link. It's called the calling link that is actually below in the description box. Before you hit that, please give us a big thumbs up if you've been loving the information that you've been hearing so far. And if you can be as kind as well, just to share this as much as possible on your Facebook, because I know a lot of people, watched the first half of the show, but they weren't able to watch the second half. So please just share the link as well. So Brother Ankh or Brother Ish, if you all had any closing remarks or announcements.
Shoot. I just like to say, man, continue supporting the Amin-Ra Squad, Magi Archers, Meltrek, Anime, Multimedia, Team Osiris, Mossi Clan Warriors. Man, just support us, man. We love our people, man, and we doing the damn thing, man. While other people talking about what we can't do, we doing it, man. We black people, and we all love our brothers and sisters, man. Whether you got the cloak of Islam, Christianity, Judaism, man, at the end of the day, man, we know you can't get around that DNA, man. You know what I'm saying? So, diversity, is our success, man. So we'll stay diverse. Everybody's not going to try to go with the science. I mean, like the brother said, man, he's seen the ancestors, man. I'm going to argue with the brother about that, man. All I will say is, at the end of the day, since we have limited time on Earth, whatever it is you do, it should supply you with food, clothing, and shelter and protection. If it does not, you just have a religion. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much. So we're actually going to be signing out right now. You've literally been tuned in to Talk with the Titans. And we've had literally the Amin-Ra Squad, the Mossi Clan, and Team Osiris on the show today, giving us a discourse on no pseudoship within inside of the conscious community at all. We're not having it anymore. No more pseudoship is allowed. So I've been Kalam, and I've been your host for Talk with the Titans, and we're signing out. Peace, love.